take this one thing that they're doing right now and they plan to restrict the number of planes and restrict the number of passengers. Well, the Toronto airport and the Canadian airline system is at it again. Lots of crazy stuff to show you today, but Canada isn't exactly well known for being very efficient. It's not being known as economical when it comes to prices, a lot of bureaucracy. And what we saw since the lockdowns happened in 2020 over the past couple of years, as more and more strain has come on the airport systems, particularly YYZ or Toronto Pearson in Canada. The reason why this was because they didn't have people to unload the bags, they didn't have security personnel, and all the news on Twitter and everything all over the place was lineups were 4 or 5 hours long. All your bags are going missing. And so I wanted to show you what their solution coming up is now. Let's take a look at this article, you guys. We're going to jump off on Yahoo News. Pearson Airport to limit flights during peak hours ahead of March break and the summer travel season. What they want to do is limit the number of flights. That's the answer. It's not hire more baggage checks. Of course not. No. That'd be way too easy, you guys. All right. So they're going to put a hard limit on the number of flights arriving or departing during peak times ahead of March break and the upcoming summer travel season. So they want to put a hard limit on the number of flights. So the lineups are 4 hours long to get out because they don't have enough staff, but their answer is, now I'm going to do that. Okay. The Greater Toronto Airports Authority. Please remember that there is so many different people in one little area. Think of this. Let's say we watch a movie and there's a police killing or something, and the local city cop is like, I have jurisdiction. And the federales show up and they're like, we have jurisdiction. They're all trying to show who's more machismo right now, right? Who's jurisdiction. When it comes to the airport, of course, there's the National Federal Bureau of Airlines Safety, but it's not them. It's not an elected official. It is this GTAA, which runs like a private company to make the most money out of it. And because they have gained so much strength over the decades, they now can control policy when it comes to customs, immigration, the number of flights. They can rule with an iron fist, but from behind a curtain. Very, very funny. Or funny, terrible. Not funny, haha. All right, let's go back here. The GTA operates the airport and says it will be implementing a number of measures to flatten peak hour schedules. So that hard limit on the number of commercial flights that can arrive or depart at any given hour, limiting the business and general aviation flights. They want to cap the number of passengers that can arrive because they're saying they cannot handle it, either in baggage or in customs or anything. And so the GTA, along with the airlines, blame the issues on a lack of security and screening staff, but they're also saying because of the COVID restrictions and aircraft movements, guys, it all comes down to, in this case, it's coming down to staffing. They can't get enough staff. So instead of limiting it, I understand that could be a short-term measure, but you've had a year to figure this out a bit more. You should be starting to try to hire people aggressively, I would think. What do you think? Now, airline prices are up. I pulled out this article here. Airline prices are up 42% since last year. Now, this came out in October of 2022, but overall, we have seen that prices are up around 40% across North America. In addition to that, we're seeing even more since last fall that it's gone up, but it's a moving target. But since 2019, beginning of 2020, flights right now are up about 50% where it was on average. You guys are seeing flights that are up 60, 70% from what they were just in 2019. Now, you have to look at where we are today. Please take this one thing that they're doing right now, and they plan to restrict the number of planes and restrict the number of passengers. Okay, so you're telling me that demand from 2021, right, was low. 22 was a lot higher. 23 is expected to be even more. Okay, so much higher demand even than what it is currently. In addition to that, we're going to limit how many planes can fly off. So increased demand and lowering the supply. You guys know this, okay? It means prices got to go up if demand keeps going up. Okay, so that pushes prices up. Now, have we calculated in at all the fact Russia is just cutting off more of their fuel that's coming out of Russia, and now the world is struggling to get fuel supplies? Okay, so if fuel prices are going to go up and demand is up and the supply is down on gas, supply is down on flights, what do you think is going to happen to prices, you guys? So I can't see how prices aren't going to continue to increase. And so that's where we're seeing the popularity of many different plans. Now, I pulled up on my phone. This is Hopper. I just picked a couple of flights, but on Hopper, this app, you can see here how it'll say these are the expensive days. It gives you the prices, the medium days, and then it has some green days. But check this out. As you go down, it gets green right until June, until the busy season. Now, normally, what did your parents tell you back in the day was book in advance. You're going to get the best price. Well, look, they're already telling you July, August, September, October, November, December. Look at this. For 1 year, it's all already the worst. So, you know how you used to get a good price for looking ahead and booking a flight a year in advance? What are the airplanes telling you? What are the airlines telling you right now when it comes to prices? They're telling you, right? More demand, higher price of gas, and now the planes can't come in, so they're telling you what to do, right? So there's a lot of apps that you can go out there. If you look at Expedia or something, I like a lot of different plans. We actually buy points and then buy flights with that plan. But you got to do something to figure this out for yourself temporarily. Now, over the long term, population gets bigger in Canada and the States over the long term. Of course, world population is going to go down, but Canada and the United States are going to be okay. But it takes time to order an airplane. Do you know how long it takes to order like a Boeing airplane? It's not like you can walk into a store like you're buying a t-shirt. You got to order this plane like 4 or 5 years in advance before it comes off the line. If you look online, they'll say, "Oh, we could build a plane in 6 months." Yeah, but there's a wait list for it. So you got to plan this out. Of course, over time, it'll smooth itself out. But what are you going to do in the meantime? If you have any flight hacks, I want to know. Now, there is one that I find that's very interesting is that if a flight has a stopover in the middle, people aren't going to check a bag and they're just going to fly to the middle ground because that's going to be cheaper. And they'll ghost that second flight, but that can get you in a lot of trouble with the airline. So they say, don't do that often. Never do that often. You'll be in a lot of trouble. So that is one thing I think that you should not do because I couldn't keep track of it in my brain anyway. But today, if we even look at my family or my wife's family, we have family members spread out around the world on different oceans. So in today's modern day, we have to travel to see our families because the answer of never seeing your family is not a good enough answer. Also, the idea of having to spend $4,000 to fly over to Europe in economy also is not the answer. So we have to figure something out. But the answers of what they're doing right now are not really the solutions to me. We got a lot bigger fish to fry, you guys. Hope that you're with me. And if you know any cool tips, I'd always like to know. Please leave a comment below. Appreciate it.